This is the Pinemen.
One.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Pinemen.
Welcome.
Oh boy. Yeah, so yesterday I went to this bar that has a thing that they call open jam, which is
Open jam.
it's basically an open mic night, but like you write your name on like a list, and the guy who is running it will pick, two guitar players, a bass player, a singer, and a drummer to like get up and just improvise a song.
Right.
And that's first off, that's a really fun, cool idea
Of
that I
course.
that I like. And then second of all, going there and watching it. Yesterday was the second time I went, and it's so interesting because I mean some people are really good, and other times you're like watching them struggle through a song that they have never played before, and like they're like trying to like see what each other's doing, and like it's like slowly forming into something that like kind of falls apart. And other times it just starts and everyone's on the same page.
Yeah.
It's just so like live music or like just like playing music. First off, is like obviously one of the most strange human kind of traits that like it just is. It's just since like the dawn of civilization, we've been like we need music here.
Yeah. It's something that it evolves with culture and people, feel in touch with modern society based off their understanding of it and stuff like that. But like really it's just this ever evolving thing that it just for some reason does something to people that they don't even know why it's happening. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and to be able to do that is pretty much one of the best things you can hope for, right? So,
Yeah, like I was gonna say, like, uh, it would be cool if like we really made it into like a ceremony where we all we'd get together and like improvise music in like a big like I don't know like a stadium or something.
who's we?
Everybody like but like we do basically do that because we go see live music in stadiums all the time. But I think something about like like the idea of like a drum circle, like improvise, just like getting into the flow state with other people also in the flow state is like so magical.
Yeah, I don't mean to sound contrarian or anything like that when I say who's we. I just mean more so
Yeah.
like I'm intrigued by the idea. Like, let's talk about this? like,
Yeah, no, I like wouldn't it be something I don't know. I think it should be like musicians are keeping a secret to themselves sometimes. It feels
in
like
what
the idea of
way?
like jamming. There's a feeling that you get in life. I mean, well, I'm trying to think if there's any other times that you really experience that level of like connection, even with strangers. Where you're
Right.
like, if you're like jamming on something with somebody that you like just met, and it's going well, you're like, okay, I like this guy, or I like
Yeah.
this person, and then like they get it. I don't know how they understood, but they're playing what it's the only thing that could be played for the song.
Yeah. Yeah, in that way, I mean, music, when you break it down into just music, there definitely is like an element where like people can connect in ways that we drive around and we are on the freeway and whatever, and I think we can all agree that we feel this disconnect from our fellow man. You know what I mean? And I don't mean to sound too dramatic with it, but like
Yeah.
Yeah, there is something really wonderful about sitting down with instruments with someone who you know, or like, even if you don't know them, the fact that they're engaging with the same type of medium that you are, which is, musical instruments, gives you like this like already existing desire to like bring them in, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, I was just thinking like I bet that same feeling exists when you're like an actor too, and you're like doing a scene with somebody.
What do you mean by that?
Like that same feeling of like, oh, we're like really in this
Yeah,
like together type of thing. Because yeah, like maybe like doing like a really like emotionally driven scene or something, or like a really funny scene, but somebody might feel the same way as like jamming on a new song that's never existed before.
I bet it
Like really,
does. Yeah.
yeah, like really creating something with somebody else.
Yeah, even down
It's
to that, like me asking you, what do you mean by that or whatever? Like, I just want to know what you mean because I do feel like those types of dynamics are ready to exist between people all the time.
yes, yes,
Right? Okay.
yeah. No, I agree, and that's what I'm saying. It's like as a musician, you have a tool at your disposal at all times around every other musician of like how to communicate, like it, like because like okay, this is like probably cliche as hell, but like really you can only say so much verbally.
Yeah.
There's certain things that you can never communicate, you know, with words.
Yeah. There's a limit. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like we write entire novels to like try to describe like a feeling that we had.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's like
Or to at least like portray like a certain one message, one of
yeah,
infinite. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And like and yeah, and like that message also like probably doesn't even come across exactly how you meant it, and the person who reads it takes something totally else, something totally different from it, and runs with that, and then they write a book about that feeling that they got, and someone else misinterprets that.
Right.
But it's like with music, it's like you know whenever you've just like really just jammed with somebody, and it's just like the drums just start playing, and then like the bass player is just playing something, just a few notes, and then you're like, and then just things just come together, and like especially when like changes in songs happen, or like someone starts playing a solo at like the perfect time, like right after like the singer finishes like a line, and it's just everything's just like is like flowing.
Yes.
It's about that flow, man. That's why like I don't know, having like a meditative approach to life generally, I feel like is a good helpful thing. It's because that's like the kind of state you have to be in to like play play music well.
I mean, I feel like that's the state that you would like to be in to do anything well. And
Yeah. Yes, 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 agree.
like, even in the way where like to understand what it means to be a member of this human race in the sense that we do exist in a pre-constructed society, and there are things that are laid out before us and that we're expected to engage with throughout our lives, and that's the expectation. It's bizarre how we like lose sight. We don't all do this, but like overall our culture tells us to push those things, that like the things that you just mentioned, to the back burner and
Oh
instead
yeah.
focus on what really matters. You know, how you're going to optimize your position in, whatever. You know what I'm saying, but like
Yeah.
optimize your financial stability and, maximize your real estate gains and, think,
Yeah.
just it just separates the human from the actions that that human is taking, and that is just
Soul crushing.
yeah, it's soul crushing. It's a clash of what it means to be alive, really. Like, oh,
Yeah.
it's so
I mean,
bizarre.
I truly believe that we're on the brink of like a real like shift towards like a more spiritual approach to life again.
I
You
hope
know,
you're right.
I feel like we can't really like. I mean, no matter what happens, no matter like who gets voted into office or what fucking company buys what thing or the price of whatever, it's like people. It's very very obvious that people are getting very tired, and if things like don't start encompassing like the full the full human experience and not just the part that is like functional for making creating wealth, you know, it's like we're gonna fuck up to a point where we can't like come back from it. Well, nah, maybe we can always come back from it. Maybe it's not that dire, but still definitely better.
Well, the thing is, I do think that we're flirting with the possibility that one of these times there's going to be no coming back. Do I
Yeah.
think that the structures and the powers that be are so weak that they will not be able to bounce back? I think they're secured enough that they'll be able to maintain their supremacy in that way. But, if that were not the case, and even if that was to be prospected in a way where, like, what if that didn't happen? What do we do then?
Mm.
I just think that, like, I don't know, like the things that you're saying, like that you've said in this short time. What is this, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes? Like that would be where a lot of people gravitate towards, and people would go. You laugh.
I left. It's been 10 minutes.
Oh, 10. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. Time flies.
That's why I laughed. I looked at the timer that I said. I was like, oh.
I tried. I'm like, okay, yeah, I see now. All right. So, yeah, but I'm saying, like, you know, all I'm saying is people would, in my opinion, spend their time, if they could, doing things that are valuable to them. And many people might think in this current society that we live in, uh, believe that people would tend to gravitate towards laziness and any kind of avoidance of just, participation in production for
Yeah.
the quote unquote benefit of society. And we'll call it the actual benefit of society for the meaning of this little thing I'm saying right now. So, when you actually focus on what matters to your society, what is it? What is it? Is it providing like 2 day shipping for, I mean, I know this is
Yeah.
easy, but like, is it providing 2 day shipping for Amazon customers? Is it, like, is it, delivering DoorDash? Like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the people that do those jobs. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, I unfortunately, whether or not they see it this way, I kind of see them as victims of an oppressive society in a way. Like, and obviously the victims are much more, uh, you know, affected and like they're more in your face than what I just described. But like, I'm just saying, based off what white suburban people see. Do I want to go down this path? I mean, not really, but like, I'm just saying, like, people view poverty as kind of like a choice. Like, you pretty much did something to belong there. When in actuality, it's like people are born into this, and the very people that are doing things that would be considered by you to be, not you, but
Yeah.
the skeptics out there, to be considered good work that's for the purpose of advancing yourself in the hierarchical structure. Well,
Yeah.
correct me on that if I'm wrong about the pronunciation, which I think I am. But you know, it's like, I don't know. You have missed the point in every way imaginable where those that are delivering your little, I don't know, like packages that make you happy. They make me happy because I got them. Getting
Yeah.
them is the happiness. Getting the package is the happiness.
Yeah, that's the end of
Yet
it.
the person
Oh,
providing the
oh.
yeah, exactly. Oh, it's here. Oh. Oh, we got the mason jars. Oh my god. You know what I mean? Like, come on, get the fuck out of here. Which, with
Yeah.
that being said, I understand that, like, for a certain demographic of people, that is genuinely like the what do you call it? Like the trigger. I mean, I don't want to say that, but like
Yeah.
the catalyst for joy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, I'm not
Well, because
saying
what
that
else? I
makes.
mean, what else is there, besides like just buying some stuff, checking out some shows?
Yeah, I know you're being like facetious or whatever, but like,
No,
in
but I mean, like, it's a wild game.
of course,
Just
yeah,
you know, yeah,
and in that way, it is like, you know, I'm talking shit about like the suburban mom and stuff like that. I don't mean it like that. I don't mean that they deserve to catch hate off of the fact that they order items online. You know,
hmm
we live in a world where, you know, it's considered radical as fuck to say, I think it's wrong for people not to have access to healthcare. That's radical as fuck. So
yeah,
for me to sit here and be like, consumerism in, you know, suburban homes as a structure of the culture itself that's been manufactured in the past less than 100 years and stuff, you know, that's a conversation for a different day. It's worth visiting. I think people
hmm
who are interested in that type of conversation should. I wish we had videos on it, but like, soon maybe we will. But like,
yeah,
just Google like, capitalism or consumerism in, modern society or something. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff on
yeah.
YouTube and it's really relevant and it helps. But, I'm just saying, for those who are inadvertently wrapped into the, just filthy world that is, they don't even think about how the people delivering the packages, I know it's easy to say, I know it feels almost cheap to even use this as a talking point because it feels like every single person should know this already, but sadly they don't. The people who deliver those packages are pretty much existing in a world where their paycheck is their livelihood. It sounds whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised, dude, if you think about how many people live that way. I'm saying that like it's like, wow, believe it or not. No, it's a common thing. And that concept exists in industries that we take for granted as like normal like benchmarks of modern society. And really, these things are abominations that represent our society as a horrendous, oppressive, sorry, corporatist, capitalist state, kind of buttering it on right there. But you know, I'm not kidding. It's 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 horrific, and it's not hard to disconnect yourself from it. The only thing that makes it difficult is the years, several years, decades, God forbid, of brainwashing from media like, I mean, Fox News. They do it. Of course, they do it the best. By the best, I mean the worst. But, you know, just keep in mind CNN and MSNBC is not helping you, okay? They're not informing you, they are sedating you, okay?
Yeah.
I know it sounds like some
I know
anarchist thing, but I don't mean it that
it's
way.
it's it's wild. It's so like funny because I think every person believes that about something. Like they know that the wool's being pulled over their eyes in some regards, but then they don't like see the same line being drawn to other things that they don't even think about. It's like watching like we've talked about this already, but like the COVID debate. It's like both sides are like kind of missing the whole thing that the other side's saying. Basically, it's because they're like wrapped up in just like there's just the fucking feedback loop of you know what's already happening. And I feel like that's like with like every political thing. It's like you guys are like we're all trying to do the same thing here, realistically. But we're just going about it in different ways. So it's like it's frustrating to like yeah have people know things but then not know them too. Like it, I don't know. It's
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things that people come to know that they wish they didn't come to know. And
mm,
they pretend like that moment never happened. And,
yeah.
you know, when I said that, I was talking about COVID stuff, but like, I really do believe it expands onto the entire acceptance of what it means to be a productive member of our society. It just is. It's not like you have to suspend, you have to pretend like what it means to be human isn't relevant in order to adopt these beliefs. Really.
Yeah.
And I just, it, it like, it's undeniable that like the opposing viewpoint takes the exact opposite position where they believe that in order to understand what it means to be a human being, you have to accept everything about, or if not just most things about, no, everything about, come on. Like the status quo of industry, production, work life balance, welfare systems. Healthcare, uh, what would we say? Healthcare, like status quo. I don't know. It's not
Yeah.
the most nuanced thing to say, but like just accept that this is how it is. Like it can't get better. It is what it is. We live with this. Come on. What are you, crazy? Come on. What are you, crazy? What are you, lazy? You want more? You want more for less? You're lazy. What about the
The the,
fact?
the, the, the
Yeah.
the frustrating thing about it is like, and we talk about this stuff all the time, but I'm not, I'm trying not to come at it from like a cynical place where it's like, we're trapped in this reality and, it's all just like suffering and we're being exploited at every turn and like then we die. No, like I don't think that at all. But I do think that waking up to the absurdity of the whole thing kind of frees you from it. At least for me, it does. And that's why I think it's fun and good to like talk about how like really look at things. Like even when we talked last time about like the supermarket and stuff like that, and it's just like I feel like if you're paying attention in life to everything or to as much as you are capable of paying attention to, it just makes everything like kind of easier. You're able to see like, oh, like everybody seems to be really worried about this thing, but now that I've actually looked at it, it's not really that scary. Or like whatever thing is, or it's like, oh, everyone says you need to do this, you got to do this. What happens if I don't do it? And then you don't do it, and everything's okay, and you're like, okay, okay.
Yeah,
I
but
guess like you, what?
what what example would you say falls into the category where like they say you should do it but you don't do it, and once you don't do it, it's okay?
Well, it's like there's like you gotta like you. I mean, get married, have kids. You gotta have a good job. You
Yeah.
gotta, you gotta like be success. You gotta go to college. You gotta be successful. You gotta like have a nice car and have a house. Those kinds of things. Like not things that people are like constantly actually telling you that you have to do. Like pay your taxes, for example. Sure, like you can't really get away with not paying your taxes. I guess maybe you can. I never tried. Maybe I'll try that.
Yeah. Who knows?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if just nothing happened to me. It's like, ah, one guy.
Like,
It's fine.
damn, we missed out on like $200.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I don't know how much you
Yeah,
earn, but you know what I mean.
yeah.
No, but
But
actually, yeah, good point. Really, seriously. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I
I feel like
feel
I've
like,
always been watching. Like, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, really, like, there are relevant things that come into play, like, things like that. Like, as far as, well, I don't know. I kind of lost
Well, think
the
about
narrative.
taboo for a second. The idea of something being taboo in like a you know modern society. What the fuck is that about?
Well,
What the
it
fuck is
comes
that
from
about?
religion,
Why?
I think.
Yeah, big time.
And
It comes from an old way of. Yeah, no, go ahead. I actually want to hear what you have to say. I'm sorry.
well, I was gonna say, do you want to take a break?
Yeah, we can take a break quick.
All right, let's do that.
BRB.
Be right back.
All right. Anyway, taboo in modern society.
Talk about it.
I want to say that the fact that anything is taboo in modern society, outside of, you know, theft and murder, is kind of absurd. All of these like social things, it's just like we're honestly, the way that I really feel about taboo is that they all it does is it kind of make things worse. You think about like sexual repression. I feel like that's a big one.
Yeah,
How good is that for people? Not good.
I don't think
Same.
so.
It's like the fucking, the fucking war on drugs. It's like, oh, that that went well. It's the same thing. It's like there's been a war on sex since like modern society. What is the deal with that?
I
It's like
mean,
control, control, control.
yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
is. And it's control over those who already have been, against their will, submitted to control. Women,
Yeah.
you know, I don't mean to be extreme, but like non white males, like,
Yeah.
but it is that way. Non straight white males, like, it's appalling. And it really does put into perspective, like, I don't know, like, the daily culture that we live in, when we, you know, acknowledge and refer to women. I'm not saying we in terms of, us here, but the way that it is accepted to refer to them and approach them and like just, you know.
Yeah. It's funny. I was talking about this earlier today, and just talking about the idea. Well, I truly believe that if they're like I explained it like this. I feel like we try for wherever it started, for whatever reason, through religion and all kinds of other means, we like try to like contain everybody else's sexuality, and then you know also ours by because we have to maintain the status quo as well. But like everybody, like most people can't really. So then there's like all these leaks in this balloon that we're trying to keep sexuality in, and it's like leaking, and all the leaks are like pretty intense, and some of them are weird, and some of them are dangerous or fucked up and harmful, and then we're like, see, this is why we try to keep it in the fucking balloon. you know there's deviance everywhere, and it's like I feel like a lot of deviant behavior is because things are so stuffy.
How
It's
dare
like
you
think
say that?
you know
Yeah,
It's like,
how
could you
dare you?
imagine? It's like you're like sitting in like a uh, like a stuffy room, with a bunch of people who are like choking on their collars and like, you know, trying to like, and you can tell that they're on the brink of like murdering somebody. It's like that feeling, and then like everyone in the room just kind of wants to scream, but like everyone's just like, hello, just like this like forced politeness, and like but everyone's like burning on the inside.
Definitely.
I don't know, man. I feel like life's like that a
You've
lot.
said a lot in the past several minutes.
Yeah.
None of which is, uh, you know, falling on deaf ears or anything like that. But like, I don't know, like to put it into the most basic way of phrasing it. Well, I guess this would be even discounting what you're saying, so I don't mean to put it that way. Um, yeah, I guess you acknowledge that like the way that people are expected to live in this society is in a way that is not remotely natural to like human existence, right? Or am
Yeah.
I off
That's
here?
that's basically what I'm saying. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's not like I think that the thing is that I don't think that like like deviant sexual behavior is actually normal, but I think that normal sexuality goes outside the bounds very often, and that's good and fine. And it feels like things get pushed to extremes so often when things are repressive. It's like the same kind of thing of like the rebellious teen. Really.
Yeah,
And
or
then you have like,
sorry, go ahead.
well, yeah, no, but then instead you have like, you know, like rape.
You
You
do.
know.
And you have the results of like prohibition, for
Yes.
example. You have the results of even like, marijuana criminalization, you know. I know cartels from Central and South America react to markets that are different than purely marijuana, but like, come on. What are we talking about here? I hate the fact that people will demonize the producers of the product that is sought after by American consumers. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing there? Like, it just applies to almost everything. And it's weird how, you know, well, I mean, the drug industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? There are American corporations that are trying to, established ones, they've already uh, pierced this veil or whatever. But, like, there are some that wish to break $1 billion. Well, guess what? The Central and South American cocaine industry has passed that many, many decades ago. And the efforts of the CIA and other branches of the American government are not only failing to quote unquote fix the problem as if that were the goal in the first place, it's more so that they have. I mean, I don't even know where to go from there. Like, they have not even vilified in any real term the cause of the issue in the
Yeah.
sense that they're complicit in it. you
Yeah.
know? I know, I'm kind of ranting, so.
No, no, no. I was just thinking it's funny. This is a sex, drugs, and rock and roll episode.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Well, yeah, we talked about rock and roll music, and then we talked about sex, and then we talked about drugs.
Let's let it be.
Yeah, let it be. Speaking of let it be, someone that I know has been listening to the Beatles a lot lately.
Who?
You
Elaborate?
didn't? Wait, did you text me the other day saying that you've been listening to the Beatles and getting nostalgic?
Oh, yeah, I mean, for like a day.
Okay, fine. It was a 1 day thing. It was a 1 day thing. Yeah, it's wild. Speaking of rock and roll music, uh, there's a Lou Reed live album where he plays at I think the Bottom Line. One of the I think it's called New York or something. Live in something. But it's so good. I was listening to it last night. He plays Take a Walk on the Wild Side. He plays a couple of songs that he like just talks through the whole time, and he's basically doing like a stand-up comedy act over like the music for like Sweet Jane and Take a Walk on the Wild Side. And
Lou?
it's just Lou, yeah. And it's just so incredible to like he's like going off about like music critics and like uh he's clearly like has a decent buzz on, and he's just like fucking going hard. It's so fun to listen to. I highly recommend it to anybody who
When is it from?
enjoys Lou Reed. Um, it's from. Let me look it up really quick. I'll tell you. I feel like it's like a little like a It's not. Yeah, Live at the Bottom Line. Um, let's see if it says 1978,
Okay.
and it is beautiful. That would be like that's after Transformer, well after Transformer. Transformer was 70, I think.
Yeah.
So, and it's after. Yeah, it's after like Rock and Roll Animal phase.
You ever think about like Transformer?
That album is incredible.
Vicious.
Yeah, I'm So Free. The
Ooh.
song I'm So Free.
Thoughts?
I wish that we could just. It would be great if this was if we were able to just be like and this is Vicious by Lou Reed. Go to a song.
Dude.
Is there any place that we can do that? I mean, we technically can do it
Radio.
on YouTube. Yeah, no, I know, but like, yeah. Does anybody do that? People definitely do it, right? On YouTube or something where they like just DJ.
I wonder. I mean, I know they do with
I feel like
like
I feel like everyone's doing something. You know, I feel like everything's being done. Must be.
yeah, I feel like DMCA is a big consideration, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, in general, I think people strive to do that, but
Yeah,
are limited by DMCA. So,
yeah. Well, yeah, it would be difficult to monetize it, but you could definitely do it.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for a while. You do it live.
Fuck it. Do it live.
Yeah,
Bill O'Reilly.
there you go. What a good
Um,
one.
huh?
What a good one.
Good dude. I mean, recently
Yeah.
came out as boosted, got booed with Trump. You know, you see that?
Yeah, what the fuck? I mean, not surprising at all, obviously, but do you think Trump's gonna run again? Do you think he's gonna run in
Yeah,
2024? Yeah, me
yeah.
too. I was watching Elon Musk on uh, Lex Friedman,
Okay.
and in a couple episodes ago, I was talking about a Muskian civilization.
Yes, you were.
They were talking about a Muskian civilization as well. Kinda. I mean, that like Lex Friedman asked him what kind of government, like if we'd set up a colony on Mars, like what kind of government there would be. And
What did he say?
he said direct democracy, which I think is reasonable.
Did he
Especially if
elaborate on the concepts of those
he said something that I thought
values?
was kind of interesting. Like, well, a direct democracy would work really well on a planet of like not that many people. You know, if we have like a colony set up there. But he was also talking about how he feels like laws should have like an expiration date.
Okay.
So I thought that was an interesting idea. He was like even like now like he was talking about how like you know you just have laws and they just are sitting there and they're like not like considered again. They are written into law and then they just hang out and he was talking about how there should be like a way for them to be like deleted at basically after a certain amount of time if no one like needs them anymore.
Well, there's something to be said about that, but you would think in this psychotic, different world that the members of represented Congress would in fact represent us and change those
Yes.
laws in accordance to the voting population's input, but
Yeah.
that's, you know, far fetched. We can't expect that or anything. So
Yeah, maybe next
instead, you
time.
know what? I like that dystopian fantasy. Maybe we can make a Netflix pop show out of that or something. That would be tight.
About the Muskian civilization?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd
I
be
mean, I would be
fun.
down. I'll write the script.
I'll watch that on like a Wednesday afternoon, you know? Uh,
Wednesday afternoon is what it's all about. It is Wednesday.
well, yeah, I was going to say, to be fair, yes. Wednesday afternoons are particularly fun because that's when we plan and do this, but yeah.
Yeah. But I at that open jam the other night, I got a very nice compliment.
Oh, what was it?
A good compliment goes a long way. It was, uh, I like your whole aesthetic, which is first off great, and then it was
Yeah.
followed up quickly with, you look like a Russian author.
Do you
I
now?
had
I
I
think
had
you
like
do.
I had my green like trench coat kind of thing on, which really adds to it. But other than that, I looked exactly like this.
Well, even with that, I feel like you got a little bit of that vibe going on. But
Yeah, I definitely understood what she meant.
if you had to be referred to as a Russian author, what era would you like to be cemented in? Are
The
we
thing is that
talking? Yeah, like we're talking Czar
turn,
era,
turn no turn of the century.
turn
I'm
of the
thinking like
century.
I'm thinking late 1800s, early 1900s. That's when I would like to exist.
So pre Lenin, post Dostoevsky, just vibing.
Yeah, that's the time period that I enjoy. Is like I don't know. I feel like the clothing looked more realistic back then. You know what I mean, though?
No.
Like, you ever see a man wearing like a coat in
Yes.
like 1910?
Yeah. Yes.
That coat looks like a coat.
You know
If
what?
you go into a Kohl's or like even worse a Target and you go look at their jackets, those jackets are not real.
Listen, the coat that man is wearing in not even Soviet Russia, but yet Tsarist Russia, that thing is a family heirloom at that point,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
And that there's
yeah,
something to be said about that. Do I believe that basic, you know, basic like instruments of warmth and just general, you know, sustenance in the way that we would describe it should be viewed as, kind of bougie. I mean, I'd rather it not, but
yeah. I mean, I
sometimes it
just like
really
that.
just is what it is.
I know. I just really like the idea of like, if your jacket gets ripped, it's like an event. You gotta bring it to the shop. You gotta get it fixed. You know.
But just imagine where a world where the shop that you bring it to is like, it's whatever, a name. What's a
Yeah.
name? Derek. It's
Yeah.
Derek, from the neighborhood. And like you bring it to him and he fixes it.
Yeah.
That's good. I like
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I want to be in that world. I don't want to be in the
Yeah.
world of, oh, my ship broke. Let me order another one from
Exactly.
Jeff. Or, you know, like,
Yeah.
they got the
My
systems
buddy, my
involved
my
where,
buddy, my buddy Jeff.
yeah, my boy, Jeff said he'd hook it up. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding. We're talking about Bezos. You feel me?
Of course we are. But yeah, it's wild. Like it's like that's what I'm saying though. It's we are living in a time where we can just have stuff. And I think that maybe I'm wrong. I think that maybe I believe that there's a lot more people that think like us than I than it seems like. But like to buy a shirt or a jacket that you appreciate is a beautiful thing.
It can be and it should be, but talk to me about how you feel about that because I happen to feel the same way. But I also
Yeah.
happen to recognize the lack of awareness for that decision amongst people that live around me, and I don't fault them for it, but I acknowledge reasons why that may be lost upon certain people.
Yeah.
That's
I
so
feel like
condescending. Holy fuck. I sound so like
nah.
elitist. Yeah. I don't mean it that way. I really don't. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's I mean it's I think people are kind of like we've said, like, it's like, it's brainwashing. People are more interested in like what the jacket's going to offer them. Like what?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna buy this new like trendy item because it's gonna help me fit in.
Yeah.
Or help me seem like this. Like maybe like I'm have more money than I have.
Right.
You know, and I feel like that's not maybe the best like mentality to have about spending money. Because you go like, oh, because then you take a step back and you look at it. It's like, what are you doing? You're trying really hard to get a really good job so you could have money so you could have people tell you that you're doing a good job because you have things, or you want them to look at you and be like, he's doing a good job. And it's like, why? Why are you putting so much effort into just other people being like, he's doing a good job? And maybe I don't think it's nobody that feels that way, but maybe it's less people than I think. But sometimes it feels like it's everybody, and it's scary.
You know, the thing is, what you're saying is, I mean, you take it just at face value, cut it up out of context or something like that. Like, you're like, this guy has a completely different view on the world. But if you actually just look at it for what it really is, the statement, the acknowledgement of distribution of labor and I was going to say wealth, but it's really just accommodation for, I mean, that doesn't even really do it justice. But like, pretty much the acknowledgement is that where we take a look at how people are content to exist by visiting the supermarket, purchasing the pork chops, bringing it home, and just sauteing the goddamn pork chops. I mean, come on. And we lose sight of the fact that I mean, my thing is this. I'm not saying we need to I mean, I would love this, but like I'm not saying right now that we need to revolutionize every aspect of human society. I'm just saying, take a look and realize, man, what you're dealing with. Like, not long ago, you were living in the land, off of, and as a part of the land that they hold hostage from you, and sell the the fruits of that labor back to you. And then you're expected to gleefully accept it with exchange of the fruits of your labor, which is something you never agreed to. I mean, your bitch ass agreed to it, but you wish you didn't. You didn't know you were agreeing to it when you did. Damn, it's just so weird.
I know. It's interesting. It's like obviously I know that it makes life easier that some people do some stuff and other people do other things. Sure, yeah, that makes perfect sense. But like, I feel like at a certain point, it's like when people go to their job and they know that their job like and then people seek it out too. People like want to get jobs that is not really doing that much stuff, and then they have a job where they sit at a desk and answer a few emails every day, and then they realize like for most of my day I'm just like answering a few emails,
Right.
and I feel like that's like unless they have a really fulfilling thing on the that is also happening. That's a pretty rough way to be a person.
That pretty
You know?
much is antithetical to the entire idea of being a person. Like,
Yeah.
being a human being who lives on this earth is not, you know, participating in this world that we view as the norm.
Yeah.
It can't be. And it's not. And it's the reason why so many people feel alienated from this society. It's obvious. This is an
Yeah.
experiment. This is not like a continuation of what we know to be the functional the functional model of human society. This is an experiment that is failing and has failed long ago, where to the point where it's appalling to me that people perpetuate it as though it's the forefront of innovation. If you want to
Yeah.
talk about how it's like relevant to maintain this aspect of society, let's talk. Okay, cool. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
To act like human society is uh, based off of obtaining sustenance from a grocery store, obtaining shelter from a landlord, obtaining health insurance, health insurance, that sounds so stupid, but like ensuring like a
Yeah. What a fucking that you just brought attention to that for a second. Health insurance.
I'm glad.
Wild.
Okay.
That's wild. Yeah. I mean, like, it is. It's really absurd.
It is, and I think
I
I
need to
know what
make
you
sure
mean
that
by
I
it,
may need
but
to. Like every other type of insurance makes sense. Like for the most part, like like car insurance. It's like if I get into an accident that I can't afford to pay for, I'm slowly paying into something that will help me like fix the problem. And
right.
I guess yeah, like it's the same thing with health, but like it just seems so much more absurd to be like, yeah, in case anything goes wrong with the body that I have, I need to make sure that a company can lend me money so that I can fix the problem.
Yeah, because God
It's like
forbid.
buying a car is a choice. You
Right.
don't you can opt out of that. You can't opt out of like being born into a body. And then like there are people who know how to help you, but they just won't help you unless you give them money.
That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, that's
Yeah,
what
I know.
last time I talked
It's like if
about.
something goes wrong with your car, it's like sorry man, you bought a car and something went wrong with it. Like you need to pay to fix it. But like you're just born into a body, and they're like, good luck.
You're totally right. I
That's
talked
what
last
that's
time
like.
about the idea
Absurd.
of like supply and demand and how it
Mm-hmm.
really means like you're desperate enough to pay for this, but like once your desperation decreases, I'll admit that really I was not charging you for what the product was worth. And when it comes down to health concerns, nothing can be more than that. Besides, like, I guess food and housing or whatever. But, like, the idea is just, it's on that same, basic human right type platform. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. No, I agree. Even more so because I feel like um just in terms of like okay. I'm really dissecting this in my head because it's like
do it.
yeah, like if if someone's because it's like yeah, I get that it would cost money to get your health problems fixed too because like it's
Right.
somebody's going out of they're taking time out of their day and spending money on resources to help you with your problem. So I guess to some extent, it makes sense that you would need to pay for it, but at the same time, it's like if you don't pay for it, you just die. And it's like I feel like most people just morally are like, if I know how to help somebody, and it's like, I'm just gonna help them. I don't know. It's really fucking. It's actually an interesting topic, and it's not obvious to me that either side is correct.
Yeah.
I would say that like all things considered, it should cost some money to get some problems taken care of, and no money for other problems to be taken care of.
Well, I mean, I think it should cost money to take care of like plastic surgery situations where like it's
Yeah.
non-elective, but like if someone was damaged in, their physical appearance was damaged in some kind of way, like different story. Anyway, want to take a quick break, come back, wrap it up, and then go into disco?
I'm down to wrap it up now if you want to just wrap it up.
All right, yeah. So anyway, this has been great. Good
This
times.
was probably a shorter one.
Yeah, definitely
about
shorter.
an hour.
Hour.
It was a little bit of a weird week this week, but next week we'll be back on and ready.
For sure. All right. Well, if you happen to be watching this, which I think there's no one, check us out on Twitch. We'll be back.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Peace.
Thanks. This is the Pinemen.